you're a champion for Landman and represent us. And we're in this kind of time in the industry where things are changing and there's so much more interest in landmen or just need for landmen and not only the oil and gas space, but all the alternatives. And now we got this TV show out there, and, people are asking. So,
Yeah.
you're doing this at a pretty important time, for the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think it's been some serendipity of kind of great timing too. You mentioned the TV show, and one of the things that I'm really passionate about is being able to, make it easier to do work with AAPL and with Landmen, and kind of create general awareness of the skill set and knowledge that our members have, and kind of how that applies to all energy projects, not just traditional oil and gas. Not that we're ever going to stop working with the industry that kind of created this profession and has been our bread and butter. But there's so many opportunities out there, and the TV show kind of coming out around the same time. Last year I was serving as first vice president for the organization under Nancy McCaskill, and just the interest has been amazing. I've done interviews for the New York Times and Fox and a bunch of folks that wouldn't have necessarily cared anything about Landman or known what it even is.
Yeah.
We even had just this week, TCU launched a Landman 101 class with about 30 students registered, just because the students had seen TCU and the TV show, started asking their professors if that's something that they could learn in the business school. So it's an 8-week night class, and AAPL's helping them kind of put the curriculum together. And I was just watching this morning, CBS came and filmed their first class and aired it last night at the local news. I think they're going to have it on national broadcast this weekend. So kind of cool awareness
Yeah.
for right now.
For the first 20 years of my career, everybody was like, what's a landman? And you
Yeah.
had to go through all that. Now my conversation is like, all right, this is what a landman really is. It's not this,
Yeah.
but it's great. It is. And it comes at a timely, really timely in the sense of recruiting for our
Hmm.
space. Us being on the field side, we're at this point in our careers where I feel like the older guys, whenever I started 20 years ago in 2004, where I was some young kid coming in and there was a bunch of 40, 50-year-old landmen out there. And there was this gap. And, flash forward 20 years and we're right there back in the same kind of situation. And
Hmm.
and so from a recruiting standpoint, it's a big deal. It's really important for people just to have some awareness of, hey, a landman is a thing. And then it gives us
Yeah.
a framework for a conversation to talk about, hey, this is how great this business is. These are the different industries that you can get involved in. And super relevant right now over the last 4 or 5 years with it's not just an oil and gas, profession anymore. Again, like you said, this is our bread and butter. This is what got us here. It's what we're always going to be. But all the different energies, all the advancements and technologies, and I guess the awareness of different places and different things that a landman can do makes it a much more appealing conversation, and and and
Absolutely.
and really opens it up to all kinds of different things that you can do on the utility side of things, which I think there's a ton that we could talk about utilities and how it's going to affect the land profession over the next 5 to 10 years here in America. Maybe that'll give us something to talk about in 6 or 8, 10 years. How
Yeah.
things have
Yeah.
changed. But I think it's been really great to bring people into the business and Kyle talking about all the new energies, all the new people coming into the business, and what we need to do as an association, as a community of landmen to recruit into our business. What's the mentality of some of the programs that you maybe had a chance to speak with, the new landmen in college or landmen to be? Have you had a
Hmm.
much chance to talk to them? What are you hearing from them?
Yeah, I have. That was another thing, kind of passions or goals as you kind of come into a role. And nothing against any of my predecessors that served in this role, but I think you get busy with the certain industry events or local association golf tournaments or clay shoots or things, President's Night, that they're expecting you to speak at. And we had a gap of a few years where there wasn't as much of an emphasis on our college campuses, and so I've made a point to try to visit. Hopefully, by the end of the year, I will have visited all of them. But to go talk to those students and let them know that APL does care about them and does care about their future and what their interests and concerns are. And I think we're in a healthy space. I think we're about 700 kids now in our accredited programs. So not the height of the shell boom where OU had 800
Yeah.
themselves, but there was a big collapse, and in COVID it almost went under, and those numbers were around 200 total with all those programs.
Wow.
And so to see it come back to life and see a growing interest and those numbers going up is good. And then kind of hearing what exactly they're asking, and a lot of them are asking kind of the pointed question is, should we go look at for jobs with majors, super majors for in-house jobs, or should we explore field work? And I'm always, without a doubt, you should go start in the field. One, you're gonna learn skills that are going to help you if you end up moving in-house, that you would know how that job is done, how much time it should actually take to get that job done, to manage that. But most importantly is what you were talking about, Brent, is kind of the aging and timing of our industry. There's a great opportunity right now, just with there being less of a supply in the field. That field landmen, you should be able to have more work readily available. There's probably also an opportunity to get in, and if you're really good, potentially take over a business from somebody that's looking to retire in the next few years. Those numbers were about 40-50% of our members are in that nearing retirement age. But most of those guys are the guys that are out, our field brokers, our independent landmen.
Yeah.
That's where there really is this age gap that you're talking about. But nothing against in-house. That's where I spent most of my career. I think you can learn a lot of things there as well. But I think opportunity-wise, in the next few years, it's really going to be better to be out in the field. So
Yeah. I think it kind of follows a lot of the trends you see just in the economy in general. People need plumbers, people need
mhm,
electricians. I don't call it a blue collar job because it's a very professional job, but
yeah,
it's not in your energy epicenters, right? You're not the place to be a field landman isn't in necessarily in Houston.
mhm,
Um, you know, Traditionally it was field landmen came from where the field work was needed.
right,
And there's a little bit of a shift with that now. And you made a point earlier about how important it is to have some field background if you're going to work in house.
mhm,
And, over the next 10 years, you're going to be able to be in Houston and be a field
yeah,
landman and then maybe have that opportunity to go in house sometime because
mhm,
you're in that community. And so, as on the brokerage side of the business, the field side of the business, there's this shift. And there's this big question that we're all asking ourselves is, how are we going to train the next generation of field landmen? We
mhm,
can't send them to a courthouse anymore because that's just not how the business has evolved, and it's how it should evolve, right? We have to be more efficient. We have to be better at what we do. We have to do more with less,
yeah,
in less time. So we're all fighting that challenge, and it's a difficult thing. There's a lot of different factors that have affected that kind of recruiting pipeline. If you have a workforce, which we had for the last 15 years of 10-year landmen,
mhm,
boy, it's pretty hard to bring in a 1-year landman and then put somebody on the bench who's done this for 10 years. You
right,
gain a lot of experience. On the field side of things, it's once you kind of know how to run title and know those things, you got it,
yeah,
right? What makes you better and more value is your experience and your exposure to all the kinds of different circumstances.
mhm,
And then now we're in this phase where it's like what makes you more valuable is how you adapt. What additional skills and experience can you get when in alternatives and right of way and utility, due diligence? So there's a lot that brings value, but you're exactly right when it comes to what opportunity is there.
mhm,
When you and I got in, we were the oldest of the young,
yeah,
and now we're right back to there.
yeah,
We try to be real vocal about that,
mhm,
on the field about, hey, there's opportunity here for you guys to come in and take over a business.